Hello, and a very warm, heartfelt welcome to another episode of English in Fluency. This is the place where we come together, not just as language learners, but as life learners, exploring how to improve our English and, at the same time, how to enrich our lives. One simple thought, one gentle word, one conscious day at a time. My name is Alex, and it is truly and sincerely a pleasure to have you sharing this space with me today. Thank you for making the choice to be here, for pressing that play button and allowing my voice to be a companion on your journey. It doesn't matter where you are right now. Perhaps you are walking through a quiet park as the morning sun filters through the leaves. Or maybe you are on a crowded bus, finding a moment of peace in your own world. Or you could be at home, settled into a comfortable chair. Wherever you find yourself, please know that I deeply appreciate your time, your attention, and your trust. It means more than words can say. Here at English in Fluency, our mission is, and has always been, beautifully clear. We are here to guide you on your path to speaking English with greater confidence, more natural ease, and a wonderful sense of fluency. But we believe that learning a language is not just an intellectual exercise. It is not just about memorizing vocabulary lists and grammar rules. It is a journey of the heart. It is about connection, about personal growth, and about discovering new ways to become a stronger, wiser, and more joyful version of yourself. This is why every single episode we create is crafted with so much care and intention. We use simple, accessible English, words that are easy to follow and understand, and we delve into ideas that can bring real, meaningful, and positive change to your daily life. You are not just a passive listener here. You are an active creator of your own experience, a participant in your own beautiful story of growth. Today, we are going to dive into a topic that is profoundly important. An idea that, if you truly allow it into your heart, has the power to fundamentally change the way you experience your life. It can influence your energy from the moment you wake up. It can shape the entire emotional landscape of your day, and over time, it can genuinely alter the course of your future. The topic is centered around a very simple, yet deeply challenging question. It is a question I would like you to hold gently in your mind as we talk today. The question is this: are you truly living, or are you just existing? Let's just let that question breathe for a moment. Are you living, or just existing? It might feel like a big question, and it is. So many of us in this busy modern world find ourselves moving through our days on a kind of automatic pilot. We wake up. We go through the motions of our work or our daily chores. We eat, we sleep, and then we wake up and repeat the entire cycle. The days can blur into one another, feeling almost identical. The weeks pass, the months pass, the years pass, and when we pause to look back, it can feel as though nothing of real significance has changed within us. There is no spark of genuine excitement, no thrill of discovery, no deep sense of connection to our own lives. In this state, we are physically alive, we are breathing, we are functioning. But are we truly living? Or are we simply existing? Imagine your life is a movie. Is it being filmed in vibrant, stunning color, full of rich sounds, deep emotions, and a compelling storyline? Or does it feel more like an old black and white film, where the images are a bit fuzzy, the sound is muffled, and the plot just seems to go around in circles? Both are movies, yes, Both have moving pictures, but the experience of watching them is completely different. One feels alive, and the other feels like a faint echo of what life could be. In this episode, we will embark on a deep exploration of this powerful question. We will carefully unpack the difference between a life that is truly and vibrantly lived and one that is merely existed. We will look at some of the very common, subtle signs that might suggest you have found yourself in a state of just existing. And please, hear me when I say this. There is no shame in that. It is a state that almost every human being falls into at some point in their life. It is part of the human condition. But the most important part of our conversation today will be focused on the how. How do we consciously and intentionally shift from a state of merely surviving to a state of truly thriving? How do we begin to live a life that feels more full, more meaningful, with more joy, and a deeper, more resonant sense of purpose? This topic is so profoundly important because your life, this one and only precious life you have, is an extraordinary gift. Every single day, every single morning you are given, is a brand new chance. It is a clean slate. It is an opportunity to grow, to love, to learn, to connect, and to feel wonderfully, beautifully, and intensely alive. But if you are stuck in a cycle of just existing, if you are moving through your days like a shadow in your own home, then you are missing out on the incredible richness and beauty that your life is meant to hold. So many people don't even realize they are caught in this pattern until a major life event, like a loss, an illness, or a big change, shakes them awake. But you do not have to wait for an earthquake to decide to rebuild your house. You can make the decision today. You can choose to start living more fully right now. And here is the most beautiful and empowering truth of all. You do not need big, dramatic, life-altering events to begin. You do not need to win the lottery or move to a different country. The shift from existing to living often begins with the smallest, most gentle steps. A 5-minute walk in nature, where you consciously notice the way the light hits the leaves. A deep, honest conversation with a friend, where you both feel truly seen and heard. Learning a single new phrase in English, and feeling the small thrill of being able to express yourself in a new way. Or simply taking 30 seconds in the morning, before the day rushes in, to feel a sense of gratitude for the air in your lungs. These are all the small golden threads that you can use to weave a new tapestry for your life. A life that is truly lived. So, I invite you to join me on this journey today. Open your heart, open your mind. Let's explore this together. And please remember, this podcast is more than just an English lesson. It is an opportunity to use this beautiful language as a tool for self-discovery, to learn how to live better, think more clearly, and become a more authentic version of yourself, one day at a time. If you enjoy our time together, please consider following English in Fluency and perhaps share it with someone you know who might also benefit from this conversation. As always, practicing by listening again and again is a wonderful way to improve your comprehension, and speaking the words out loud will build your own fluency and confidence. Now, let's take our first deep breath together and begin this important exploration into what it really means to live and what it means to just exist. Let us now delve much more deeply into the heart of our topic today. Let's try to truly understand the vast and profound difference between the experience of living and the state of merely existing. On the surface of language, these words might seem to be close cousins. If you exist, you are alive. And if you are alive, you exist. This is biologically true. But when we speak of a life of meaning, a life of fulfillment, these two words represent two completely different universes of experience. A great many people on this planet are biologically alive, but a much smaller number are truly, deeply, and vibrantly living. To grasp this distinction is to hold a key that can unlock a new way of seeing yourself and your own life. Let's start by exploring the rich and beautiful concept of living. To truly live is an experience that goes far beyond the mechanical functions of our bodies, the beating of our hearts, the breathing of our lungs. Living is an internal state of being. It is the feeling of being awake, engaged, and an active participant in the story of your life. When you are truly living, you are consciously choosing how to spend your time, your energy, and your attention. You are not just letting life happen to you, you are co-creating your reality with life itself. You are doing things that bring a genuine sense of joy into your days. You are seeking out experiences that challenge you to grow, to learn, and to become more than you were yesterday. You are pursuing things that give your life a sense of meaning, a why that gets you out of bed in the morning. When you are living, you are not just trying to kill time or get through the day. You are fully inhabiting your time. You are savoring it. You are learning new things with a sense of curiosity. You are loving others and yourself with an open heart. You are exploring the world around you, even if it's just your own neighborhood, with fresh eyes. You are creating something, whether it's a meal, a garden, a piece of art, or just a kind and welcoming atmosphere in your home. You are doing things that make your spirit feel full and expansive. This has absolutely nothing to do with your financial status, your job title, or whether your life looks perfect on the outside. It is about being deeply and authentically connected to your days, to your choices, and to your own soul. You feel a spark of excitement about something. You have dreams or goals, big or small, that act as a compass, pulling you forward. And even when life is hard, even when you are faced with pain or disappointment, which is an inevitable part of every life, you still hold a fundamental sense of gratitude and wonder for the incredible gift of being alive. Now, let's turn our attention to the other side of the coin, the state of existing. To exist is to be alive in the most basic, functional, and mechanical way imaginable. It is a state of being on autopilot. You wake up. You eat, often without tasting your food. You go to work or school, performing your tasks without any real engagement or passion. You come home, perhaps distract yourself with mindless entertainment, and then you go to sleep. The next day, the cycle repeats itself, almost identically. You are doing what you feel you are supposed to do, what is expected of you, but there is no real enjoyment, no sense of personal fulfillment in any of it. You are not growing. You are not changing. You are not feeling inspired or excited by your own life's journey. You are, in essence, surviving, but you are not thriving. To illustrate this more clearly, let's imagine the life of a man we'll call Daniel. Daniel's alarm rings at 7 a.m. He groans and hits the snooze button not once, but 3 times. He finally drags himself out of bed feeling tired before the day has even begun. He makes coffee while scrolling through his phone, his mind already cluttered with stressful news and a flood of emails. He doesn't notice the rich aroma of the coffee or the warmth of the mug in his hands. His breakfast is a piece of toast eaten quickly over the sink. His commute to work is a blur of traffic and anonymous faces. He doesn't notice the changing seasons or the architecture of his own city. At work, he performs his tasks efficiently. He is a good employee, but his mind is somewhere else, or nowhere at all. He moves from task to task, a robot completing its programming. He eats lunch at his desk, barely tasting the sandwich. In the evening, he comes home, slumps onto the sofa, and watches television for hours, not because he is interested in the shows, but because it is a way to numb his mind and pass the time until he can go to sleep and start the whole process over again. Daniel is existing. His body is alive, but his spirit is dormant. Now, let's imagine the life of a woman we'll call Sophia. Sophia also wakes up at 7 a.m. But instead of grabbing her phone, she takes 3 slow, deep breaths, feeling the air fill her lungs. She gets up and opens the curtains, letting the morning light into her room. As she makes her tea, she pays attention to the sound of the water boiling, the smell of the tea leaves. She sits by the window for just 5 minutes and drinks her tea, noticing the way the steam dances in the air. Her commute to work might also be in traffic, but she uses the time to listen to a podcast she enjoys or to simply observe the world outside her window with curiosity. At her job, she also has tasks to complete, but she tries to find a small moment of meaning in her work, a small way to connect with a colleague, a small problem she can solve creatively. During her lunch break, she steps outside for 10 minutes to feel the sun on her face. In the evening, she spends 30 minutes working on a hobby she loves. Perhaps it's learning to play the guitar or tending to her small collection of plants. She also watches television sometimes, but she chooses a show that makes her think or laugh. Before bed, she writes down one thing from her day that she is grateful for. Sophia is living. Her life is not necessarily easier or more exciting than Daniel's on the outside, but on the inside, it is a world of difference. She is engaged. She is aware. She is connected. The absolute core distinction between Daniel and Sophia, between existing and living, is this: awareness and intention. When you are living, you are aware. You are present in your own life. You feel your emotions, both the pleasant and the unpleasant ones. You think about what you want, and you make small, intentional choices that align with your values. You cherish your time as the precious, non-renewable resource that it is. But when you are merely existing, you are fundamentally disconnected. You are asleep at the wheel of your own life. The days pass in a gray fog, and nothing truly changes within you. You don't feel that spark of anticipation in the morning, nor do you feel that quiet satisfaction at the end of the day. You are simply performing the necessary functions to get by. This is not a judgment, it is a diagnosis. And the wonderful thing about a diagnosis is that it is the first step toward a cure. Recognizing this pattern is the first powerful step to breaking it. It is never too late to wake up, to take the wheel, and to start steering your life toward a more vibrant, more colorful, and more meaningful destination. Now that we have painted a clearer picture of the difference between a life that is lived and one that is merely existed, let's delve into some of the specific, tangible signs that might indicate you have found yourself in a state of just existing. These signs are like quiet warning lights on the dashboard of your life. They are often subtle at first, easy to ignore. They don't flash brightly or make a loud noise. They creep into our lives so slowly, so gradually, that we may not even notice them until we find ourselves feeling perpetually tired, unmotivated, or with a deep, nagging sense that something important is missing. But when we cultivate the courage to look honestly at our daily habits, our repetitive thought patterns, and our underlying emotions, we can begin to see the truth of our situation more clearly. Recognizing these signs is not about judging yourself. It is about empowering yourself with knowledge so that you can make new choices. One of the most profound and common signs that you may be just existing is when your life is dominated by a monotonous and uninspired routine. Now, I want to be very clear. Routines themselves are not the enemy. Healthy routines can be incredibly beneficial. They provide structure, they build discipline, and they can free up our mental energy for more important things. However, there is a vast difference between a supportive routine and a soul-crushing one. A supportive routine might include things like exercising, meditating, or reading every day, activities that nourish you. A soul-crushing routine is when every single day feels like an exact, colorless copy of the day before, with no room whatsoever for joy, spontaneity, learning, or surprise. You wake up at the same time, eat the same breakfast, drive the same route to a job that doesn't inspire you, perform the same tasks, come home, eat, distract yourself with the same passive entertainment, and go to sleep. The next day, the cycle repeats itself without variation. In this state, there is nothing to look forward to. Life becomes predictable in the most boring way possible. You might even find yourself losing track of what day of the week it is, because your Wednesdays feel no different from your Saturdays. If your days feel like this, like you are an actor playing the same scene over and over again, it is a very strong indication that you are stuck in a cycle of existing. Another very clear sign is a lack of personal goals, dreams, or anything that you are passionate about. As human beings, we are designed to grow, to strive, to move towards something. When we have goals that we personally care about, even very small ones, we feel a sense of purpose and motivation. We wake up with a direction. It is like having a compass that points us forward, especially when we face challenges. But when we don't have any goals or dreams that excite us, life can feel stagnant and pointless. It feels like you are a ship adrift at sea with no sail and no rudder, simply being pushed around by the winds and the waves. You might find yourself feeling a deep sense of apathy, a kind of emotional shrug where you think, "What's the point of anything?" Or, "It doesn't matter what I do." This is a very dangerous state of mind, because it slowly erodes your hope and your belief in a better future. You stop planning. You stop imagining. You stop wanting. You just do what is immediately required of you, without any passion or genuine interest. Living without personal goals is like setting out on a road trip with a full tank of gas, but no destination in mind. You are burning fuel, you are moving, but you are not actually going anywhere meaningful. A third powerful sign, and one that many people misinterpret, is feeling chronically tired, bored, or emotionally numb, even when you are getting adequate sleep. Of course, everyone feels tired from time to time, but if you feel a deep, persistent exhaustion that a good night's sleep doesn't fix, it may not be your body that is tired. It may be your soul. This is a kind of spiritual or emotional fatigue. It comes from investing your precious life energy, day after day, into activities that do not align with your values, do not bring you joy, and do not give you a sense of meaning. It is the exhaustion that comes from living an inauthentic life. This often goes hand in hand with a pervasive sense of boredom. Things that once made you happy, hobbies, friendships, music, now seem dull and uninteresting. You might find that you don't laugh as deeply or smile as freely as you used to. You feel disconnected from your own emotions, as if you are watching your life through a thick pane of glass. This emotional numbness is a defense mechanism. It is your mind's way of protecting you from the pain of a life that is not fulfilling. But it also protects you from feeling joy, excitement, and love. Another very common sign that you might be existing instead of living is when you find yourself constantly living for the future, specifically for the weekend or your next vacation. It is perfectly normal and healthy to look forward to breaks and holidays. But there is a difference between looking forward to something and desperately needing it as an escape. If you spend your entire work week, from Monday morning to Friday afternoon, just counting down the hours until you can be free, it is a strong signal that your everyday life is not providing you with fulfillment. It suggests that you see your weekdays as a heavy price you have to pay in order to earn your 2 days of real life. Think about that for a moment. That means you are willingly trading 5 out of every 7 days, the vast majority of your life, in a state of waiting, of enduring, of just existing. Life is not meant to be something you constantly need to escape from. True, vibrant living involves finding moments of peace, joy, and meaning in the ordinary days too, in the Tuesdays and Wednesdays, not just on a beach during your annual holiday. If you feel like your real life only happens on the weekends, you are missing out on most of the time you have been given. Many people fall into these patterns without ever consciously choosing them. It is not a sign of weakness or laziness. It is often a result of the intense pressures of modern life. We get so caught up in the race to be productive, to pay the bills, to meet expectations, that we forget to check in with ourselves. We forget to ask those fundamental questions. Is this making me happy? Does this feel meaningful? Is this the life I truly want? And over time, without that vital self-reflection, we can lose the inner spark that makes us feel alive. But here is the hopeful truth. Recognizing these signs is the first, most crucial step toward change. It is like finally turning on the light in a room where you have been stumbling around in the dark. Once you can see clearly where you are, you can begin to navigate your way to a better place. And that is what we will explore next. The beautiful, life-affirming signs of a life that is truly being lived. Let's now turn our attention away from the shadows and into the light. Let's talk about the beautiful, vibrant, and deeply fulfilling experience of truly living. What are the signs? How does it feel? What does it look like in everyday life? It is so important to have a clear vision of what we are moving towards. It is one thing to know you want to escape from a state of existing, but it is another thing entirely to know what a life of living actually entails. Please remember, living fully does not mean your life is a perfect, flawless fairy tale. It does not mean you are happy every single second of the day, or that you never face challenges or sorrow. True living is much deeper than that. It is about your inner state, your connection to yourself, to others, and to the world. It is about how you find meaning, joy, and gratitude in the beautiful, messy, and imperfect journey of being human. One of the most powerful and foundational signs that you are truly living is that you regularly experience a sense of gratitude and wonder for the small things in life. This doesn't mean you ignore your problems or pretend they don't exist. It means you have cultivated the ability to also see the good. You have trained your mind to notice the small, everyday miracles that so many people overlook. Perhaps you take a moment to genuinely savor the taste of your morning tea, feeling its warmth spread through you. Maybe you feel a jolt of pure, simple joy when you see the vibrant colors of a sunset, or when you hear a piece of music that touches your soul. When you are truly living, you don't need huge, momentous events to feel happy. You are skilled at finding pockets of joy and beauty in the ordinary. You might feel a wave of gratitude for the comfortable bed you slept in, for a kind word from a colleague, or for the simple fact that you have food to eat. This practice of gratitude fundamentally shifts your perspective from one of lack to one of abundance. It brings a deep and abiding sense of peace, even amidst life's storms. People who live with gratitude feel more alive because they are not constantly waiting for some future event to bring them happiness. They are experts at finding it right here, in the precious, fleeting moments of the present. Another clear sign that you are living a full life is that you intentionally make time for activities that you genuinely enjoy and are passionate about. You understand that you are not just a worker or a person with responsibilities. You are a multifaceted human being with interests, hobbies, and passions. You honor this part of yourself by making space for it in your life. When you are truly living, you don't see your hobbies as a waste of time or a guilty pleasure. You see them as essential nourishment for your soul. Maybe you love to paint, or play a musical instrument, or work in your garden. Maybe you love to read, or dance, or hike in the mountains. Even if your life is very busy, you find ways to integrate these activities. You find a few minutes each day, or a few hours each week, to do something purely for the love of it, without any goal of productivity. This could be as simple as listening to an album you love from start to finish, without multitasking. It could be trying a new recipe, or playing a game with your family. These moments of joy and play are what give life its color, its texture, and its vibrancy. They are a powerful reminder that you are here to do more than just survive. You are here to experience delight. A third vital sign of a life that is truly lived is that you have personal goals that excite you, and you are taking steps to move towards them. Your goals do not have to be about becoming rich or famous. They just have to be meaningful to you. Having a personal goal is like having a North Star. It gives you a sense of direction and purpose. It makes you feel like you are moving forward, growing, and evolving. Perhaps your goal is to become fluent in English so you can connect with more people around the world. Maybe you want to run a 5K race, or write a collection of poems, or learn how to build furniture. Whatever your goal is, it provides a compelling reason to wake up in the morning. You feel a sense of pride and satisfaction not just when you reach the goal, but in the process of working towards it. You are not just a passive observer of your life. You are an active participant in shaping your future. When you are engaged in a meaningful pursuit, life feels dynamic and exciting. You don't feel stuck because you know that with every small action, you are becoming more than you were before. Another beautiful and profound sign of truly living is when you find deep meaning in helping others and cultivating authentic, heartfelt connections. A full life is rarely a self-centered life. We are social creatures, and we thrive when we feel connected to others. When you help someone, whether it is a friend, a family member, or a complete stranger, your own heart expands. You feel more human, more compassionate, and more alive. This does not mean you have to solve all the world's problems. It can be as simple as truly listening to a friend who needs to talk, without judgment or trying to fix their problems. It can be offering to help a neighbor with a difficult task. It can be a genuine compliment offered to a service worker. These small acts of kindness weave a strong fabric of human connection. When you nurture your relationships, when you are vulnerable and honest with the people you love, you feel less alone in the world. You feel like you are part of a tribe, part of something bigger than your own individual existence. This sense of belonging and contribution brings a deep and lasting joy that no amount of money or success can buy. It reminds us that we are here not just to live for ourselves, but to share this incredible, beautiful, and sometimes difficult journey with others. So, when you find yourself regularly feeling grateful, when you are making time for joy and passion, when you are growing towards your goals, and when you are connecting with others in a meaningful way, you are not just existing, you are truly and wonderfully living. You are creating a life that feels rich and beautiful, not because it is perfect, but because it is authentic. You are not just letting time slip through your fingers. You are feeling it. You are experiencing it. You are fully awake to the magnificent gift of your own life. And the most empowering truth is that this way of living is available to every single one of us. It is a choice we can make, a practice we can cultivate, again and again, starting right now. Let's now explore a question that is at the very heart of our conversation today. Why? Why do so many good, intelligent, hard-working people find themselves in a state of just existing, rather than truly living? This is not a simple question with a single answer. The path from a vibrant, engaged life to one of quiet survival is often a slow, subtle, and complex one. It is rarely a single conscious choice. Instead, it is a series of small compromises, unexamined habits, and subtle shifts in perspective that, over time, can lead a person to a place where they feel disconnected from their own life. Understanding these reasons is not about placing blame. It is about cultivating compassion for ourselves and for others, and about identifying the invisible fences that might be keeping us from a more fulfilling life. One of the most powerful and pervasive reasons is fear, in its many forms. As human beings, our brains are wired for survival. This means we are naturally drawn to what is safe, familiar, and predictable. Change, on the other hand, represents the unknown, and the unknown can be terrifying. This fear can manifest in several ways. There is the fear of failure. Many people would rather stay in a boring but stable job than pursue a dream career, because the thought of trying and failing is too painful to bear. They think, if I don't try, I can't fail. So they don't try, and they end up trapped in a life that doesn't inspire them. Then, there is the surprising fear of success. This is the fear that if we do succeed, Our lives will change in ways we can't control, that people will expect more of us, or that we won't be able to handle the new level of pressure. There is also the powerful fear of judgment. So many people live their lives according to a script written by their family, their friends, or society, because they are terrified of being judged or rejected if they choose a different path. They become doctors when they wanted to be artists, or they get married because it's what you do, not because they found the right partner. This deep-seated fear of what other people will think keeps them from living an authentic life. Fear, in all its forms, builds walls around us. And while those walls might make us feel safe, they also create a prison that keeps us from the wide, open fields of a life truly lived. Another major reason, especially in our modern world, is the overwhelming pressure of chronic stress and relentless busyness. We live in a culture that often glorifies being busy. We wear our exhaustion like a badge of honor. We believe that if we are not constantly working, producing, and rushing, we are somehow lazy or unimportant. This cult of busy is incredibly toxic to the soul. People work long hours, face long commutes, manage endless family responsibilities, and are constantly bombarded with digital notifications. Their minds are always full, always racing. At the end of the day, they are utterly depleted, mentally and physically. In this state of chronic stress, there is simply no space or energy left for the things that make life worth living. Quiet reflection, hobbies, deep connection, or dreaming about the future. Survival becomes the only goal. It is almost impossible to ask yourself deep questions like, "Am I happy?" Or, "What is my purpose?" When you are just trying to make it to the end of the day without collapsing. This non-stop activity creates a profound disconnection from our inner selves. We lose touch with our own feelings, our own desires, and our own intuition. And when we lose touch with ourselves, we inevitably stop living and start just existing. A third and very deep reason is a lack of a clear sense of purpose or meaning. A sense of purpose is the why behind what we do. It is the fuel that keeps our inner fire burning. When a person doesn't have a strong sense of purpose, life can feel empty, heavy, and directionless. This lack of purpose can come from many places. Perhaps they were never encouraged to explore their own interests and passions as a child. Maybe they pursued a goal and failed, and became too discouraged to try again. Or maybe they simply achieved all the goals society told them to, got the degree, the job, the house, and then realized that none of it brought them the happiness they expected, leaving them feeling lost and disillusioned. Without a sense of purpose, people often feel a deep sense of apathy and a chronic lack of motivation. They may sleep a lot, but still feel tired. They may go through the motions of their life, but there is no enthusiasm or light in their eyes. They are like a beautiful sailboat with no wind to fill its sails. It just sits there, motionless in the water. But it is crucial to understand that purpose does not have to be some grand, world-changing mission. Purpose can be found in the smallest of things. It can be found in being a kind and present parent, in creating a beautiful garden, in mastering a new skill, in making people laugh, or in contributing to your local community. Purpose is not something you find. It is something you build, day by day, through your intentional actions. Finally, so many people find themselves just existing because they have become too comfortable in their comfort zone. Our comfort zone is the collection of habits, routines, and beliefs that feel familiar and safe. There is nothing inherently wrong with it. But a comfort zone is a wonderful place to visit, but a terrible place to live. When you stay within the confines of your comfort zone for too long, you stop growing. You stop learning. You stop experiencing new things. And when you stop growing, you stop truly living. Life becomes predictable, flat, and colorless. You might tell yourself that you are content, but deep down, there is a nagging feeling that you are missing out on something. The comfort zone can feel like a warm, cozy blanket, but it can also be a cage that keeps you from your own potential. The human spirit is designed to explore, to be challenged, and to overcome. When we deny ourselves these experiences in the name of comfort and safety, we are starving our souls. Stepping out of the comfort zone is always scary, but it is the only place where magic, growth, and a life fully lived can be found. Understanding these reasons, fear, stress, lack of purpose, and the comfort zone, is the first step toward liberation. It allows us to look at our own lives with compassion and to identify the invisible chains that may be holding us back. It shows us that feeling stuck is a normal part of the human experience, but it does not have to be a permanent address. Once we know why we are stuck, we can begin to figure out how to get free. And that is the most hopeful and empowering knowledge of all. Now, we arrive at the most important part of our conversation today. We have explored the difference between living and existing. We have identified the signs of a life that has fallen into a routine of survival. And we have understood some of the deep reasons why this happens to so many of us. Now, let's talk about the how. How do we consciously and intentionally begin to make the shift? How do we move from a black and white existence to a life filled with vibrant color? The beautiful truth is that you do not need to make a sudden dramatic leap. The journey from existing to living is a path made of small, gentle, and consistent steps. It is not about creating a perfect life. It is about creating a more present, more engaged, and more meaningful one. So, how do we begin this beautiful process? One of the first and most transformative steps you can take is to actively cultivate curiosity. Think about a young child. They are fascinated by everything: the texture of a leaf, the color of a stone, the sound of a passing car. They are constantly asking why. This state of curiosity is the very essence of being alive. As we grow older, we often lose this sense of wonder. We think we know everything already. We stop asking questions. To start living more fully, we need to reawaken this inner child. Make a conscious decision to be curious about your own life and the world around you. You can start with curiosity experiments. For example, this week, decide to be curious about the food you eat. Instead of just eating mindlessly, take a moment to really taste it. What are the different flavors? What is the texture? Where did this food come from? Or you could be curious about the people you interact with every day. Instead of just a quick hello, ask your colleague a genuine question about their weekend and really listen to the answer. Be curious about the history of the town you live in, or about a genre of music you have never listened to. Curiosity is the antidote to boredom. It pulls you out of your mental routines and forces you to engage with the present moment in a fresh and exciting way. It is a powerful first step to feeling more alive. Another profound practice is to reconnect with your five senses. So much of existing happens entirely in our heads. We are lost in thoughts about the past or worries about the future. We are not present in our own bodies. A powerful way to break this cycle is to intentionally ground yourself in the present moment through your senses. You can do this right now. Take a moment and just notice. What are five things you can see? Look for colors and shapes you hadn't noticed before. Now, what are four things you can feel? The texture of your clothes, the temperature of the air on your skin, the solidness of the chair beneath you. Now, what are three things you can hear? The distant sound of traffic, the hum of a computer, your own breathing. Now, what are two things you can smell? Perhaps the faint scent of coffee or soap. And finally, what is one thing you can taste? Maybe the lingering taste of your last meal or drink. This simple exercise, which takes less than a minute, pulls you out of the noise in your head and into the reality of the present moment. Try to practice this throughout your day. When you are drinking your tea, just drink your tea. Smell its aroma, feel its warmth. When you are taking a shower, feel the water on your skin. Reconnecting with your senses is a form of mindfulness, and it is a gateway to a richer, more vibrant experience of life. The next step is to start setting feeling goals, not just doing goals. We often set goals like, I want to lose 10 kilograms, or I want to get a promotion. These are doing goals. They are about achieving an external result. But the reason we want these things is because of how we think they will make us feel. We think losing weight will make us feel more confident. We think a promotion will make us feel more successful and respected. I invite you to try setting goals based on the feelings you want to experience. For example, instead of, I want to learn Spanish, your goal could be, I want to feel the joy and connection of having a simple conversation with a native Spanish speaker. This small shift is incredibly powerful. It connects your daily actions to a deeper emotional purpose. When you are studying your vocabulary, you are not just memorizing words, you are working towards the feeling of joy and connection. This makes the process much more meaningful and motivating. Ask yourself, how do I want to feel more often in my life? Do I want to feel more peace, more creativity, more connection, more adventure? Then, think of small actions you can take that will help you to cultivate those feelings. It is also vital to embrace imperfection and the spirit of play. So much of our adult life is about being serious, responsible, and productive. We are afraid of looking foolish or making mistakes. This fear can stifle our creativity and our joy. To truly live, we must give ourselves permission to be imperfect, to be beginners, and to simply play. Think about something you can do just for the fun of it, with absolutely no goal of being good at it. You could buy a cheap set of watercolors and just splash color onto a page. You could put on your favorite music and dance around your living room, even if you think you are a terrible dancer. You could sing loudly in the shower, even if you are off-key. Play is not frivolous. It is essential for the soul. It is an act of pure expression and freedom. When you allow yourself to play, you are telling the critical, judgmental part of your brain to take a break. You are reconnecting with a part of yourself that is spontaneous, joyful, and unafraid. This is a powerful act of rebellion against a life of mere existence. Finally, actively cultivate deeper human connection. In our digital world, it is easy to have hundreds of friends online, but still feel deeply lonely. True connection is not about the number of followers you have. It is about the quality of your relationships. Make an effort to nurture your connections with the people who matter to you. This means more than just sending a text message. Call a friend just to hear their voice. Suggest a walk or a coffee with someone you want to get to know better. When you are with someone, practice deep listening. Put your phone away, look them in the eye, and give them your full, undivided attention. Another powerful way to build connection is through small acts of kindness. Buy a coffee for the person behind you in line. Leave a positive comment for a creator whose work you enjoy. Write a heartfelt thank you note to someone who has helped you. These small acts send ripples of positivity out into the world and create a deep sense of meaning and connection within you. They remind you that you are part of a larger human family. These steps, cultivating curiosity, reconnecting with your senses, setting feeling goals, embracing play, and building deep connection, are not a checklist to be completed. They are ongoing practices. They are ways of being in the world. Start with just one. Choose the one that feels most appealing or easiest for you right now, and just practice it gently and consistently. You do not need to overhaul your entire life overnight. You just need to plant one small seed of intentional living. And if you water that seed every day, with your attention and your care, it will begin to grow, and it will transform the entire landscape of your life. Now that we have explored what it means to truly live, and we have learned some simple, practical steps we can take to bring more life into our days, it is time for us to pause. It is time for us to stop, to breathe, and to reflect. This part of our journey together is perhaps the most important. It is not about you listening to my voice. It is about you learning to listen to your own. In our busy, noisy world, we can go weeks, months, even years, without ever truly stopping to check in with ourselves. We run from one task to the next, from one responsibility to another, and we forget to ask the most fundamental questions about our own lives. But reflection is like water for the soul. When you take a moment to look inside your own heart, your own mind, you begin to understand yourself on a deeper level. You discover what truly matters to you, what brings you joy, and what your spirit is calling for. And that self-knowledge is the foundation upon which a truly lived life is built. So, I would like to invite you now, wherever you are, to take a quiet moment for yourself. If it is safe for you to do so, you might want to close your eyes. If not, just soften your gaze. Find a comfortable position, and let's take a long, slow, deep breath together. Breathe in through your nose, feeling the air fill your lungs, and then breathe out slowly through your mouth, releasing any tension you might be holding in your shoulders or your jaw. Let's do that one more time. A deep breath in and a slow breath out. Allow your mind to become a little quieter, a little more still. And now, in this quiet space, I want you to gently ask yourself this first question. What do I genuinely enjoy doing? Don't rush to answer. Just let the question float in your mind. This question sounds so simple, but it is incredibly profound. Many of us have been so busy doing what we think we should do, what others expect of us, what society values, that we have completely forgotten what we ourselves truly enjoy. So think about it. What activities make you lose track of time? What moments in your day or in your week bring a small feeling of happiness, relaxation, or excitement? Perhaps you love the feeling of working with your hands, maybe through gardening or cooking. Perhaps you enjoy the mental challenge of solving a puzzle or reading a complex book. Maybe it is the simple joy of listening to music, of walking in nature, or of having a deep, meaningful conversation. There is no right or wrong answer. Just notice what comes to your mind. Remembering what you enjoy is the first step to reconnecting with your authentic self. And making a little more time for those things is how you begin to weave joy back into the fabric of your life. Now, let's go a little deeper. I want you to ask yourself this second question. What makes me smile a real, genuine smile? This question is special because the things that make us smile spontaneously, without any effort, are often the things that touch our hearts directly. They bring us a pure, unfiltered dose of joy, peace, or laughter. So think back. Can you remember the last time you smiled a real, heartfelt smile? What was happening in that moment? Was it the silly antics of a pet? Was it a funny memory? Was it the warmth of a hug from someone you love? Was it the pride of accomplishing something you didn't think you could do? These moments are precious clues. They are signposts pointing you directly toward what brings you happiness. And happiness is not a luxury. It is a vital part of a life that is fully lived. When you start to pay more attention to the things that make you smile, you naturally start to seek them out more. You begin to see the beauty and the humor in simple, everyday moments. You stop rushing through your life, and you start truly enjoying it. That is the essence of living. And now, for our final and perhaps most powerful question for reflection. What is one small, tiny step I can take today or tomorrow to live a little better? Notice the words. One small step. You do not need to change your entire life today. You do not need to quit your job or move to a new city. Grand, sweeping changes often begin with a single, manageable daily action. So think. What is one small thing you can do to make your life feel just a little bit better? Maybe it's choosing to drink a glass of water instead of a sugary soda. Maybe it's calling a family member you haven't spoken to in a while. Maybe it's putting your phone away for the 30 minutes before you go to sleep so you can read a book. Maybe it's taking the stairs instead of the elevator. Or maybe it is a mental step, like choosing to say something kind to yourself when you look in the mirror, instead of criticizing. You are the expert on your own life. You know what you need. Trust that inner wisdom. Identify one small step, and then make a gentle commitment to yourself to take it. And tomorrow, you can take another. These small, consistent steps are what create real, lasting change. As you reflect on these questions, please be kind to yourself. There are no perfect answers. This is not a test to be passed or failed. Do not compare your life, your joys, or your struggles with anyone else's. We are all on our own unique and sacred journey. Your path is yours alone. What matters, what is truly beautiful, is that you are taking this time. You are pausing. You are looking inside. You are asking the important questions. That is an act of courage and self-love that many people never undertake. But not you. You are here. You are doing this work. That is magnificent. A life fully lived begins with awareness. When you ask yourself the right questions, you begin to receive the right answers for you. You learn who you are, what matters to you, and what your heart desires. And with that precious, powerful knowledge, you can begin to consciously and intentionally shape a life of purpose and joy. You do not have to wait until you are ready, or until you are a better version of yourself. You can start right now, exactly as you are. So today, I encourage you to take 5 minutes. Just 5 minutes. Sit with yourself and ask, what do I enjoy? What makes me smile? And what one small step can I take today? And then, listen with an open heart to the answers that arise. Because you were not put on this earth just to exist. You are here to live, to grow, to laugh, to love, to stumble, to get back up, and to shine. And it all begins with one small question, one honest answer, and one brave step. You have already begun. Keep going. Your beautiful life is waiting for you. As we come to the end of our journey together in this episode, let's take a final, quiet moment to gather all the threads of our conversation and weave them together. We began by asking a very simple, yet incredibly deep question. Are you living, or are you just existing? This question is not meant to create anxiety or judgment. It is meant to be a gentle invitation, an invitation to pause, to look at our lives with fresh eyes, and to ask ourselves, am I truly engaged with my own life story? Or am I just letting the pages turn without reading them? It is a question that encourages us to consider whether we are actively making our days count, or simply counting the days. We explored the profound difference between these two states of being. We learned that existing is about survival. It is the mechanical routine of waking, working, eating, and sleeping, often without a sense of connection, growth, or joy. It is a life lived on autopilot, in black and white. Living, on the other hand, is about thriving. It is about feeling awake and alive from the inside out. It is about finding meaning in the small moments, pursuing our passions, connecting deeply with others, and continuing to learn and grow throughout our lives. It is a life lived in vibrant color. We delved into some of the reasons why so many of us can fall into the trap of just existing. We talked about the power of fear, the overwhelming nature of modern stress and busyness, the emptiness that comes from a lack of purpose, and the deceptive comfort of our comfort zones. We recognized that falling into this pattern is not a personal failure, but a common human experience, and that recognizing it is the first courageous step toward change. It is never, ever too late to choose a different path. The opportunity to begin living more fully is renewed for us with every single sunrise. We also looked at the clear signs that we might be just existing, the soul-crushing monotony of routine, the absence of inspiring goals, the persistent feeling of being tired and bored. These signs are not meant to discourage us. They are meant to be our allies. They are signals from our inner selves, from our souls, gently nudging us and saying, "Hey, listen. There is more to life than this. I want to feel alive again." And learning to listen to that inner voice is a beautiful and transformative skill. Then, we painted a picture of what it means to live fully. It is a life filled with gratitude, passion, purpose, and connection. It is a life where we enjoy the small, everyday miracles, a walk in nature, a deep laugh with a friend, a quiet moment with our own thoughts. We learned that living fully is not about having a perfect or famous life. It is about feeling a sense of peace in our hearts and a vibrant energy in our souls. Most importantly, we shared some simple, practical, and powerful steps to help you begin this shift. We talked about the power of cultivating curiosity, of reconnecting with our five senses, of setting feeling goals, of embracing imperfection and the spirit of play, and of nurturing deeper human connections. These are not grand, intimidating tasks. They are small, gentle actions that, when practiced consistently, can slowly and surely transform the entire quality of your life. You do not need to be perfect. You just need to be willing to start, to be honest with yourself, and to take one small step, and then another, and then another. And finally, we took a sacred moment for personal reflection. We asked ourselves those vital questions. What do I enjoy doing? What makes me smile? What one small step can I take today to live better? These questions are like keys. They can unlock the doors to a deeper understanding of yourself, helping you to find your own purpose, your own passions, and your own unique path to a more joyful life. Now, here we are, at the very end of our time together. And I want to leave you with this one final important thought. You have a choice. Every single day, every single moment, you have a choice. You can choose to remain on autopilot, to continue just existing. Or you can choose to wake up, to become present, and to start truly living. You can choose to stay where you are, trapped by fear or routine. Or you can choose to take one small, brave step toward a better, more vibrant life. You do not need to change everything at once. Just choose to live a little more today than you did yesterday. Choose to feel a little more, to laugh a little more, to love a little more. These small choices are the most powerful force for change in the universe. So I invite you now, not tomorrow, not next week, but right here in this moment, to make that choice. Choose to live. Choose to feel alive. Choose to follow the quiet whispers of your heart and the bold visions of your dreams. Life is so incredibly short, but it is also immeasurably beautiful. And its beauty deepens and expands exponentially when you make the conscious decision to live it with purpose, with courage, with love, and with joy. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining me, Alex, on this journey today. I hope this episode has given you some comfort, some clarity, and a spark of inspiration. Please remember that you are not alone in this. We all face these struggles, but we also all possess the incredible power to make our lives better. Keep learning, keep growing, and most of all, keep living. Because you deserve to live a life that is full and rich and wonderfully, authentically yours. You deserve to live, not just exist. If you enjoyed our time together today and found it helpful, please don't forget to subscribe to our podcast, English in Fluency, so you never miss an episode. And feel free to share this conversation with your friends and family, anyone you know who is looking to live more fully and improve their English along the way. I would be so happy to hear from you. Please leave a comment or send us a message about what you've learned today and what small step you are committing to take to start living more fully. Keep practicing, stay inspired, and always remember, life is far too precious to just exist. Let's live it.